Max was an old dog, his fur had turned gray and his movements had slowed down over the years. Yet his eyes still sparkled with the same youthful energy he had as a pup. He was a Labrador mix, a blend of strength and gentleness. His breed was known for loyalty and intelligence, traits Max embodied perfectly. He wagged his tail hopefully whenever someone passed by his kennel, his heart full of unspoken wishes. Each wag was a silent plea for a second chance. He sat in the shelter unsure of his fate. The cold, hard floor was a stark contrast to the warm bed he once knew. The days felt long and the nights even longer. Max had been a good dog, always obedient and eager to please. He had learned many tricks and commands, always performing them with enthusiasm. He loved his family very much. They were his world, and he had been theirs. The bond they shared was unbreakable, or so he thought, but life had taken a turn. Now, he was alone. The house that once echoed with laughter and joy was now silent. The emptiness was overwhelming, but Max still believed in happy endings. Despite everything, he held on to hope. He knew that somewhere out there, a new beginning awaited him. All he needed was a chance. Every day, people would walk by. Max would watch them with hopeful eyes, his tail wagging slightly at the sight of potential adopters. He would hope they would choose him, imagining the warmth of a loving home and the joy of companionship. But day after day, no one did. People would pass by without a second glance, leaving Max feeling invisible. Max started to lose hope. The once bright spark in his eyes began to fade, replaced by a deep sadness. Would anyone want an old dog? He wondered if his age was the reason he was overlooked. He felt sad and forgotten, as if his best days were behind him and no one cared anymore. He missed having a family to love. The memories of playing in the yard and snuggling on the couch haunted him, making the loneliness even harder to bear. One day, a young boy walked by. His name was Oliver. Oliver stopped at Max's kennel. He looked at Max with kind eyes. Oliver asked his mom if they could meet Max. Oliver felt something special. He knew Max was the dog for him. Oliver and his mom took Max home. Max was so happy. He had been waiting for this moment for so long, and now, it was finally here. The car ride was filled with excitement as Max looked out the window, his tail wagging non-stop. When they arrived, Max eagerly jumped out of the car and ran towards the house, his new home. The family welcomed him with open arms, and Max felt an overwhelming sense of joy and belonging. He finally had a family again. Max explored every corner of the house, sniffing around and getting familiar with his new surroundings. The family watched him with smiles on their faces, happy to see him so excited. Max's joy was contagious, and soon everyone was laughing and playing with him. It was clear that Max had found his forever home. Oliver and Max became best friends. They spent every moment they could together, playing games and going on adventures. Whether it was a simple game of fetch in the backyard or a long walk through the neighborhood, they were inseparable. Oliver loved teaching Max new tricks, and Max loved learning them. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day. They played fetch in the park. The park became their favorite place to go. Max would run after the ball with all his might, his ears flapping in the wind, and Oliver would cheer him on. They would spend hours there, enjoying the fresh air and each other's company. It was their special place where they could forget about everything else and just have fun. They cuddled on the couch. After a long day of playing, they would curl up on the couch together, Max resting his head on Oliver's lap. It was their time to relax and unwind. Oliver would read a book or watch TV, and Max would drift off to sleep, feeling safe and loved. These quiet moments were just as special as their adventures. Max loved his new life. He had everything he could ever want: a loving family, a best friend, and a safe place to call home. He was no longer a stray wandering the streets in search of food and shelter. He was part of a family now, and he cherished every moment of it. His days were filled with love and happiness. He knew he was home. Max felt a deep sense of peace and contentment. He had found his place in the world, and he was surrounded by people who loved him. He no longer had to worry about where his next meal would come from or where he would sleep at night. He was home, and he was happy. Max lived out his days with Oliver. As the years went by, they grew up together, their bond only growing stronger. Max was there for all of Oliver's milestones, his first day of school, his first bike ride, and even his first heartbreak. They shared countless memories and experiences, and their friendship was unbreakable. He died peacefully, surrounded by love. Oliver missed Max. When the time came for Max to say goodbye, he was surrounded by his family, the people who had given him a second chance at life. Oliver held him close, whispering words of love and gratitude. Max passed away peacefully, knowing he was loved. Oliver was heartbroken, but he knew that Max had lived a full and happy life. But he knew he gave Max the best gift, a second chance at happiness. Oliver often looked back on their time together with fondness. He would look at photos of Max and remember all the good times they had shared. He knew that he had given Max the best gift anyone could give, a loving home and a second chance at happiness. And in return, Max had given him a lifetime of love and memories.